We reported on this from day one and said it's something absolutely wrong with this whole picture. Black male calls the police. He says, hey, there are white people chasing me. He then texts his mother. He says, Mom, my boss wants the guys who work for him to kill me. If something happens to me, just know what it is. All right. Young man is found dead, head decapitated. Sheriff comes out immediately. Oh, no foul play. No foul play here. This had to be some kind of animal in the wild. We said on day one, hell to the no. There's something else going on here. Let's get it. Put up the picture of the young man. He should be alive. He's dead. He reached out to the right entities. He reached out to the police and to his mother. But because he put it on record, there may actually be justice somewhere in the future. Now we have a third set of remains found in Mississippi. Rasheem Carter, 25 years of age when he was killed. He was found nearly decapitated after he told the police he was being chased by a group of white men in Taylorsville, Mississippi. He was reported missing on October 2nd, 2022, one day after the encounter of being chased by these white men. And his skeletal remains were found on November 2nd in a wooded area in Taylorsville. The family was initially told by the local sheriff that foul play was not suspected and that animals had destroyed his remains. Their attorney, Ben Crump, called Carter's death a Mississippi lynching, and I agree with Benjamin Crump. This was during a press conference in March. The third set of Carter's remains were found February 23rd, and the family was notified via email. There's more. Here's what Attorney Ben Crump said in a statement. The family of Rasheem Carter, while still deep in grief, is being denied adequate information and closure from the Mississippi officials overseeing this case. From the beginning of this case, the family has been misled. At first, when the first of Rasheem's remains were discovered with his head decapitated from his body, officials told the family that it was animals that killed Rasheem. Then officials admitted that they believed he was murdered, end quote. Crump would condemn the authorities for how they've handled this. Let's put it up. Now it is unacceptable that the family had to find out through an email that more of Rasheem's remains were found, and still they haven't been told any other information, been offered a meeting with officials, or received his remains. He continued. They continue to be stonewalled at every turn. This family just wants to find out what happened to Rasheem and say their goodbyes. They ask that the additional remains be returned to them so that they can lay him to rest. Let's talk about this questionable autopsy, all right? Because people will point to it. The Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office completed a forensic anthropology examination. This happened on the 2nd of February. That's according to WJTV News. The press secretary for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, Bailey Martin, said that the condition of Carter's remains prevents the cause of death from being reasonably determined. All right? Let's put up the Smith County Sheriff, Joel Houston. So Joel told NBC News Carter's co-workers were ruled out as suspects because their phones pinged nearly 100 miles away at another job site when Carter was allegedly last seen alive on a landowner's game camera on October 2nd. The sheriff said that Carter's co-workers claimed that he had been moody and they weren't able to joke around with him. And the way they did, or the way they did in previous days. The sheriff says, no foul play here. His co-workers didn't do it. As a matter of fact, they said it was something wrong with the fella. He wasn't himself lately. What? The man who has remains scattered in 3 different places on the planet. The man that has his body ripped apart is criticized by the sheriff for having a bad mood. Yeah, I would be in a bad mood too if I knew my coworkers were trying to kill me, as he said to his mother via text message. He sent it to his mother and said, "Mom, here's what may happen to me." That evidence is secured for the record now. And this whole idea about, well, the cell phone was 100 miles away. Well, how convenient. That means you've proven one thing, Sheriff, where the cell phone was located. That's all you've proven, nothing more. Why were you so quick to defend this? Why were you so quick to say, move on, nothing to investigate, this was an animal? If it was an animal, why is it that you can't conclusively determine based on forensics that it was an animal? Believe me, forensic scientists are well aware of how to track an animal killing on a human body. This is one of the most extreme cases and possibly one of the most extreme cover-ups right now in law enforcement. That is a great possibility, especially when you look at this evidence. Okay? So look at what has happened. The man said, "I'm being chased." He calls the police. Okay? Police do nothing. He dies. Police come out. They say, "Hey, this had to be a wild animal that did this to him," with no evidence or investigation. But the mother has a text message that says, from the son, "They're trying to kill me." And then on the day of, you have to consider when he said, this is going to happen to me, the co-worker that took him to work had been taking him to work every day. That co-worker decided not to take him to work that day because they had an argument. Rickey, what are your thoughts here?
The United States is like a decayed tooth, but Mississippi is like the part of the decay next to the nerve.
Yeah.
And I'm real mad about this. I can go on for days about this. I think the United States Justice Department need to be hovering over every single department in the state of Mississippi. I think they killed him. 1 + 1 = 2. I mean, just based on the circumstantial information that you and I have, I think we can probably almost probably convict those co-workers or whatever if we had any eyes on that case. I think it needs to be another autopsy done. I think the FBI need to be involved. And I think we need to shake Mississippi up and turn it upside down. Mississippi, man, I hear stories like that coming out of Mississippi, Georgia, and different parts of Florida and Alabama all the time, far too often. This right-wing racist, it's no different from the movie Mississippi Burning, when the Fed had to come and show up, in order to try to stand up for poor people. Yep. I'm just really, really disappointed. I'm hurt. My heart goes out to the Carter family or whatever, but I really hope the United States Justice Department get involved and take over this case and investigate it and convict those low-down Ku Klux Klan members, mob. I even think the mob is no different from what it was in the 40s and the 50s. It's still going on at night. They just don't wear the hoods anymore. They wear the Make America Great Again hats and the Confederate flag hats and traded the hoods in for that. And they're racist to the core. And I said what I said, and I meant it.
You are 100% correct. This young man did not do all of this because he was unsure about his environment. He did it because he was pretty sure about his environment. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to go to the police because you fear your life, but he did. It takes a lot to tell your mom, "I may die," but he did. That takes a lot. All right. We'll continue to follow that story, bring you updates as they come.